So today at Josh Anderson Art, we're drawing Bobby from Bobby's World, 90s cartoon on Fox. Pretty much created, voiced by, and acted in by Howie Mandel, who used to have a nice mullet perm. Now he's more known for his bald look and being on The Voice. Is it The Voice? I'm not big on those kind of shows. I hate reality TV. I hate it with a passion. But I think he's a judge on The Voice. Funny story. My look is usually bald for the last 10 years. And I did used to wear earrings a while back. And it's kind of Howie Mandel's look these days, bald with an earring or a couple earrings or whatever. And one time I was at Burger King and these little kids saw me. And this kid goes, "Are you Howie Mandel?" I said, "No." He goes, "Are you sure?" So there you go. Howie Mandel is my celebrity lookalike. Actually, more people say I look like the guy. His name's Corey. I forget his character on House of Cards. I've never even seen the show, but people are always telling me I look like him. His eyes are actually a lot smaller than that. But yeah, I remember this show watching in the 90s, kind of before school, I think, during breakfast. And I love Bobby's little imagination, and I love his voice. Looking back on it now, and I know a little more about comics, the history of the funnies, and one of the kind of the big famous funnies in the papers in the 20s and stuff was Little Nemo in Dreamland. It's kind of like Bobby's World, but like that time period. So it's already been done, kind of. About a little boy who sleeps in his dreams, all the adventures he goes on in his dreams and stuff. But Bobby's a lot more kind of a modern, little imaginative boy, which is cool and fun. Like Howie Mandel must have kids because that's the way they are. They're little imaginations. I have a 2-year-old, and the stuff he imagines is so funny sometimes. So if you're just joining me for the first time, I'm going through a series of cartoon characters I grew up with and are nostalgic for me. So mainly 80s and 90s cartoons, although a lot of them came from 60s cartoons and 70s cartoons like Hanna-Barbera reruns and stuff. But Yeah, and really what I'm trying to do is just do a daily drawing, kind of bust this out in what would be my lunch hour, kind of shifting my lunch hour to make it fit. But so I'm not spending a lot of time on them. They're just a basic, roughly half hour sketch. For this series, I'm doing pencil them in, then I'm going to ink them, and then color pencil. And the biggest reason for this is just to keep myself drawing, but also to, I'm really learning that a lot of your skills that you learn are from copying other people's work. And so like, that's always been a weakness of mine. Like when I pick up a pencil or a pen, I just want to make up stuff. I want to draw my own things. I've always been like that. And I'm all about originality and I'm kind of like that with music too. A lot less practice with guitar and stuff, but like I never got good at guitar because I just wanted to write my own songs when I picked it up. Turns out this is probably not the best route to go if you haven't learned yet, because you're not challenging yourself and excuse me, learning new things. My brother was a lot better at, like, he liked to, like every kid, when they pick up a guitar, they want to play like Inner Sandman or Smoke on Water. And I always hated it because he would just be playing that over and over and over. And I'm like, come on, man, like write your own stuff, dude. But like, turns out he ended up being a lot better at guitar than me because he was learning stuff from those songs. Like he was learning scales and like finger, like on the frets and stuff. And art is very much the same way. Like I'm lucky I ever got as good as I am because I haven't really drawn from pictures or anything very much. It's all just been out of my head, mostly lion's share of my drawings. And so that's what I'm doing with this series. I'm just really trying to like challenge myself to swallow my pride and just draw what other people have drawn and draw these old characters. And I can't tell you how much I'm learning from this. I gotta be honest, like just the way people handle their characters and everything, like, and even just from the start of this series, I think I started about 2 months ago or something, but even since then I've noticed like huge improvements in my just my confidence of lines and like, and not just drawing these characters, but then when I go to do my own stuff, like I'm noticing like I've got a bigger repertoire of tools in my toolbox, like how to do hands and stances and clothes and everything. Like instead of just always doing my own, which is a very small kind of toolbox in my head. And you can tell like the drawings that are like more or less practiced or less borrowed from or whatever are just more stale. And then the ones I've been doing since I've kind of been learning this stuff have been a lot more fun. Like I'll show you one real quick. Since you're watching, nobody's watching right now, so maybe you know. This gorilla. This is like a complete original gorilla, and then my process for him is like, and I'm doing a coloring book for my son. Is that like I'll take one day and I'll just do a gorilla study. Should show you that too. And I'll Google realistic or like real photos of gorillas and just draw a page of those. I mean, ideally I would go and actually do a ton, like just really learn. And so I do a page of just realistic photos. Sorry, I am losing my voice. And then like the next day I'll go and I'll find cartoon gorillas. And this is again the thing of swallowing my pride and drawing other people's cartoons, which I usually hate to do. But then like I'm starting to see how everybody, this conglomeration of how everyone handles the face of a gorilla. Everybody kind of has to do the same thing with his eyebrows and his stance and stuff like that. And then when it comes time for me to draw my gorilla, I've got all this like stuff in the back of my head, and it's kind of like writing a paper in college. Like you don't want to plagiarize, but you have to go and look up your source material and rehash it through your brain and mix it with everything you've read and spit out an original paper. That's what this is. And like it's a lot of little cues I've taken from real gorillas and from other people's cartoons. And there's mine, and he's completely original. I haven't stolen him from anyone, but he's influenced by lots of people. Anyway, back to Bobby. So there's my pencil rough. For this series, I'm using a Papermate Flare, which is actually a really cheap pen. I've been blown away by how much control I have with it. I really like these pens. They don't dry out too fast. There's a lot of line variance I have with them by pushing and letting off pressure. The paper I'm using right now, however, is horrible, but I am not one to waste, and so I bought the sketchbook. I'm going to fill it up, but this particular sketchbook is just, it's probably even thinner than regular copy paper, which has pluses and minuses actually. Like one is the paper's smooth, so pen glides over it really nicely. But it's so thin, like all of this is popping out the other side, and then when you're trying to erase pencil lines, you can easily like eraser grabs the paper and then bends and tears it. And also pencil doesn't erase very well off of this paper. My last sketchbook I ordered it from the office supply place that we get all of our stuff from my place of work, and it was actually a good one. So I'll show you. Sorry about that. I have the worst camera setup in the history of YouTube. Last sketchbook was this Derwent. Trying to find like this heavyweight paper sketch. Probably still not the quality you get from an art store or something, but this one is like just good quality paper. This one, Paycon, never even heard of these people. Lightweight, smooth sketch. It's just super cheap. So I don't recommend buying this one for this kind of drawing. And then one thing, because I'm in such a hurry with these drawings, I'm not really taking my time to get a good workspace. Like this, right now you can't tell because it's outside the camera, but I am really crowded right now. I don't have a good desk space. This is just my desk at work, and it's a keyboard and desk. It's not for drawing. And it's really affecting like the quality of my drawings a lot. But it's one of those things, it's kind of like sometimes you can wait for the perfect everything before you do anything, and then you kind of end up never doing anything because you're waiting for the right tools, the right desk, the right camera. If I was waiting for all that, this wouldn't be happening right now. And so it's like you kind of just gotta sometimes take what you got and go with it and do something. Because the main objective for me to learn from these drawings, I can still do that with even this crappy situation. Now, if I were being commissioned to do these drawings and like I was making money off of it, I'd be taking more time, and I would be using my drafting table at home, and good paper and good supplies, and set aside some good time where I'm not rushed. These are just practice drawings. Fun, they're just practice. I'm also trying to challenge myself to not waste as much time on YouTube watching fun, interesting stuff per se. It's like YouTube is a rabbit hole. I'm sure you know if you're here watching me. And there's just you can watch anything world, and like one thing that's kind of interesting to me is like kind of crime dramas and true crime stories and stuff. It's kind of like rubbernecker syndrome. Or just, what the? Tell me more. And I like guilty of wasting a lot of not time because I always like listen to videos while I'm working, so I'm not really wasting my time per se, but maybe my time I could be using to learn more. So with that said, I'm trying to challenge myself to find other artists vlogs and stuff and how to artists vlogs and try to learn instead of wasting my time learning about horrific crimes. One guy who's been really inspiring to me, his name is Will Terrell. Actually, I haven't listened to him in a few months, but I found his vlog and just watching him draw and listen to him talk and stuff is really inspiring. And he's a guy who started out kind of in high school, actually wanting to be a writer and not very good at drawing, but then he started getting better at drawing. And now today he works in the animation department at WB. So people like that are really inspiring. You can learn a lot from them. Like I've learned a lot of technique and stuff just listening to his videos. I've come across Poco art and what's the guy's name? Silverman, something Dave Silverman or something like that. Yeah, Bobby Chu. I ran across that guy, and he's a crazy awesome artist. Some of these people offer classes and stuff through Patreon. I don't have the money to do any of that right now, but or time. Bobby's World. Bobby. Just the show and the character right there. All right, and then like one of the things I learned. I gotta respond to a text. I actually kind of stumbled on this technique of like, see how I just did all this on a single width line with my pen? That's how I've pretty much drawn my entire life. But then I started learning in college about sculpted lines because I was a graphic design major in college, and we did like a little unit with Adobe Illustrator, learning how to do sculpted lines in Adobe Illustrator. And it was kind of a light bulb moment for me because it's like, whoa, like that's, you don't realize it. Sometimes you're impressed or you like really like a piece of art and you don't really know why. And it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, that's why a lot of like cartoon art and stuff is really cool looking because of the sculpted lines instead of just, sometimes it's cool, like a single width line has a certain look to it for some things, but sculpted lines just really make something pop. It just looks really cool. But I still didn't know how to do it. Like in college, I thought, oh, it's just thick lines, right? And so I started to try to draw cartoons with a Sharpie. No, that's a horrible decision. I look back on some of the projects I did, tried that with, and I just cringe at it because then you're still a single width line, but it's all like it's really thick and it's just horrible looking. So the thing with a sculpted line is there's thicks and thins, and where you place them is really important. Like some teachers I've had say, like kind of place that thick line where shadows are and stuff. But then, like I was gonna say, I kind of stumbled one time on like this, doing an outer line around my drawing. I drew some tools for a graphic design project at work, and I just I drew them single width line with a fine liner, and then I went around the outer edge, did a really thick line, and I was like, dang, that looks really cool. So then I started doing it with like these characters, and then kind of picking up a little bit more and more how to do these. Like I follow Jake Parker, who's the guy that started Inktober, and he did some little like tips and stuff in his Instagram one day, and he was talking about this very thing. And his tip was to do do the outer line, especially when things are overlapping. And so then I'm experimenting more with bringing that thick line in to the inside of the drawing too. And it's a more, the harder thing about it is it's more of intuition and try to look, and it's subjective, and it's per different piece of artwork. Sometimes it looks good there and not there, as opposed to just saying draw a line all the way around. Like that's easy, you can do that anytime, anywhere, in any piece. But trying to decide like better places to do it is really subjective. Like you got to kind of figure that out yourself. I'm going to do his hair. Right? Just doing a Sharpie because it covers a lot of area a lot quicker and doesn't dry up my pen. It's one thing I'm seeing too, like that I like, is like cartoon characters that have black hair or like maybe black shoes or big black belt or something like that. It really adds like something to the character. It adds weight, I guess, and just makes them look a little more substantial. Obviously, not all cartoon characters have that. Like, I mean, Donald Duck's all white. He's a great character. Like just yesterday, the drawing was Count Duckula. He has black hair and a black cape. Just things like that. Just really seem to just make that character substantial on the page. This marker is going to dry out on me. Sorry. I have like the worst camera setup, like I said, in the history of YouTube. It's this stupid Microsoft webcam. It's all I've got for doing a live video. It's got this stupid clip that's only made to like clip on your monitor and look at your face. And I'm trying to show drawings here. I really wish I had the money and stuff to do a good setup for anybody watching. I'd probably get more viewers and subscribers if I actually had a good setup here. But it's kind of a chicken or the egg. Like, do I decide to invest money and time into it once people are watching, or invest money and time to get people to watch? I don't know. I'm kind of going off. I had some success with some DIY videos. I have another playlist you can find on my channel called Blind Squirrel DIY. It has nothing to do with my art at all. I had this idea to do whenever I did home projects around the house, especially when I couldn't find good information to help on YouTube. Like, I'll make my own video and see if I can't help somebody else with the same problem or whatever. So I threw these together and actually had fun learning to edit video. Like, I just kind of on the fly figuring out iMovie. And then like one of the ones I did just like it was, I won't say viral because it wasn't near that, but like I think it has 20,000 views now, which for me is incredible. I don't have anything even close to that. So then I was like trying to monetize my channel and everything. Then YouTube screwed all of us over at the beginning of the year, saying you have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to monetize. And sitting around 650 now, which is a lot of you don't have near that much. It's not even close to enough. All right, I need to let him dry before I try to erase those pencil lines. My favorite eraser to use is the Kneaded Gum Eraser. And if you haven't used these, they're just like really stretchy. They pick up really well, and they don't leave all the junk like one of these typical erasers. but they pick up everything and then they get really black. And a good way to kind of start over is just to knead it like this. But I'm finding out because I haven't been letting my ink dry, it's picking up a ton of ink and then getting really black to where it won't even, I can't even get it clean. And then it picks up some ink and then drops it as I'm erasing it because it's ruining some of my drawings. So I need to let it dry a little longer. So while we're doing that, let's see if we can find a good picture of Bobby and find the colors. Bobby's World. Take my color pencils. I'm always these drawings are always from stills. I find an episode on YouTube and do a still, full body shot picture. So a lot of times the resolution's kind of terrible. I think he's just red, light blue, and Caucasian skin color. Too dark. Just super cheap Crayola color pencils. Use it here. Yeah, I think that'll do. Plug your ears. Sorry, my pencil sharpener is super loud on the video. So yeah, I think those are the colors. And let's see how this does now. Oh no. All right, hold on. I want to scan him before I get color in there. Almost forgot I'm making a coloring book out of these guys for my son, or my boys. I have a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old, and 2-year-old's just starting to learn how to color. I thought, oh, if I get these scanned before I put color on, it makes a great little coloring book page. Take color out there. And I'm aware this camera is not only horrible quality, like resolution, but the sound is terrible too. Every time I had someone tune into this channel live, it stayed for about 10 seconds and disappeared. I understand. I'd probably do the same thing. So really, part of what I'm doing this for too is like YouTube. I don't know if they realize this, or I know it's not what they meant, but there's also a way for me to catalog everything and just store it somewhere. It's not on my computer taking up space, just raw video of these drawings. And then if I get time later, I think it might be cool to download these videos. And then I can chop them up and edit them and put music over it or voice over it or something and make a better video out of it, more entertaining, easier to watch. Even though the video quality is bad, I can do something with the sound later. I can change it or do something different. At least I kind of have a record of this, and got some video of me drawing. This is kind of rare. There's not a lot of video out there of me actually in the process of drawing until I did this series. I have a playlist if you want to go look. It's called Art by Josh Anderson on this channel. And that one's kind of a collection of ones where I'm actually in the process of drawing things, and different. Most of those were videos we did for my church for one reason or another. So like that one of me drawing the Roots poster is for our high school has a winter camp called Whiteout. They've been doing for the last 15 or 20 years, and the last 12-ish years I've been the one to design all the logos, artwork, and t-shirts and everything that goes with that camp, which has been super fun. That's youth and children's stuff is kind of right up my alley. Every time they request stuff for me to design, I get really inspired and feel creative. Some of the other stuff that goes on at our church, when they ask me to do design, I'm not excited about it because it just doesn't require any kind of creativity. A lot of them, in fact, when I've tried to be creative, they've said, "Man, this isn't really what we want. Can you make it a little more plain?" Fine, buzzkill. But children's and youth, they've always loved the stuff I do for them, and I've done lots of t-shirts for camps and stuff, and they just love them. It feels great to have someone actually compliment your work and love it and wear the shirts. Although because of church budget, we don't always get the best quality t-shirts, and so I think more than the design, people don't wear them because they're just kind of low quality, not very comfortable t-shirts. End up being people's work shirts and stuff. Just fine, whatever. They've been stepping up their game lately, though, at Whiteout, the last few years, and doing some really cool merchandising options that they hadn't done in the past. Some cool, different hoodies and bottles and beanies and stuff. All right, let's do his shoes and then be done with this. Didn't have any takers today for watching live. Again, it's understandable. Who am I? You don't know who I am. Why don't you watch my channel? But the video is here for you to come back to anytime. I hope I can help other people, or at least point you to better help. If I'm not helping you the best, go watch Will Terrell, man. That guy's really good. Find Bobby Chew. super awesome artists. And they offer actual real classes and stuff. So if you want to get better, go find them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Parting shot of Bobby.
Hello.